Welcome to our Communiversity Today, a community affairs program from West Virginia University Institute of Technology in Beckley, hosted by Dr. T. Ramon Stuart, president of West Virginia University Institute of Technology, working to make a difference in Southern West Virginia. Guest opinions expressed on this program may not represent the opinions of West Virginia University Institute of Technology or Southern Communications. And now with today's program, here's Dr. Stewart.
Well, welcome to our Communiversity Today. Again, I'm Dr. Ramon Stuart, president of WVU Tech here in Beckley, and I'm thankful that you chose to be with us today as we explore our Communiversity. As always, I remind you, I believe Communiversity means the community is the university. Build our Communiversity. This is one of my most exciting shows to date because I have in studio with me a gentleman that believed before anybody else did. I can remember that as oftentimes in my job, I get people that say, hey, I want to talk to you. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I remember this gentleman had a good friend of mine, the grandfather of Communiversity, none other than Paul Hutchison. He set up a lunch and we sat down at a local restaurant that the prices are not as friendly as some other places. And we had a lunch for 3 people that came to about $12 because we was all eating salads, trying to watch our waistline and everything like that. But the reality is we got down to business. The vision of Communiversity was shared. The understanding was there. And the mutual benefit of making sure that all ships rise with the tide is something that my guest today was able to see immediately. And so in studio today, we have none other than Bill Loving, who is the president of Pendleton Community Bank, a community bank centered here in Southern West Virginia that continues to work with people and for people to build our Communiversity. So as always, when we think about building our Communiversity, we're going to look today to answer 2 questions with Bill Loving, and that's simply, why not us and why not now? So ladies and gentlemen, right after this break, we'll be back with more Our Communiversity Today on News Talk WWNR.
Need a change and ready to transfer? WVU Tech offers the best return on your college investment in West Virginia, and we make it easy to apply and transfer your existing credits. We've got top-ranked, affordable engineering programs, 4-year degrees in science, business, and nursing, plus financial aid and student support services. WVU Tech could be just the place for you. Find out more information at wvutech.edu/admissions today.
And now back to our Communiversity Today on News Talk WWNR, 620 AM and 101.1 FM and online at wwnrradio.com. Here's Dr. Stewart.
Welcome back to our Communiversity Today. Again, we're visiting with Bill Loving, president of Pendleton Community Bank, to discuss how community banks are the cornerstone of the Communiversity. Bill, how are you today?
I'm great, and thank you for allowing me this privilege and opportunity to be with you today.
Yeah. You know, you talk about privilege, and I mentioned how we met and everything. I'm humbled and honored that you thought of us. You came to WVU Tech when we were building what's next, not necessarily, having got down the road where we wanted to be. But again, I talked about you believing. And I think as I talked to you, your belief really, really started here in Beckley, being a product of Beckley, having a mother that raised you and a family that raised you here in Beckley. Tell me how that prepared you for your current role.
Well, as you said, I grew up in Beckley. My mother was in banking. My father was an engineer. Kind of commonality there.
Yes.
So
love engineers.
Love engineers. But I got started in banking early on as a part-time job. And I found through that it was service to people. And my whole life I was brought up to help others. And being a community banker helps fulfill that. And when I saw what community bankers do for those in the community, how they make dreams come true, that's when I decided that's what I want to do.
It's funny you mentioned community bank and in my travels, I always said I wanted to have a bank that didn't have ATM fees wherever I went. So I'll be honest, even growing up in McDowell County, having money at McDowell County National Bank, I never knew about a community bank or whatever. But when you think about Communiversity, why not us? Why not now? And you think about community banks. What is it that people should know about community banks versus regional and national banks?
We like to say we work with the relationship model, not the transaction model. We want to get to know you as a customer, as a person, as an individual, and then determine how we can help you the best. And through that knowledge, we can help you grow, and in turn, the community grows.
Yeah, and I think that's so important because when you really think through this whole notion of working with people, you see some people that they go through and they do things out of compliance, not commitment. They do things that are transactional, not transformational. They do things because they're mandated, not mandatory. So when I look at what Pendleton Community Bank does, it looks like you're committed to making transformational memories through banking. How does that play out?
Yes, it does, because it's probably one of our four core values. Of course, the first one is utmost integrity. Without that, the financial model does not work. But also, the second core value is our team members, our customers, and then our communities. And those are the three pillars that we look at, that we want to make sure we are fulfilling the needs of each and every one of them. So when you look to the customer, we see what the customer needs are. As they are successful, I tell our team members, we will be successful. And when we are successful, the community will be successful.
Yeah. And I think that's so important because as you look at the community bank model and the things that I've learned more, you talk about that success. While a community bank can do business on a wide range of things, that success is witnessed and realized right here, those success stories. And so how does that feel to be able to fund and finance the future of Southern West Virginia?
That's one of the biggest blessings. And, when you can sit back and you can see what you have been able to help partner with and the growth that you see that comes out of it, whether it be a young couple that buys their first home or the first car, or a business that has an idea that you help drive or help them drive that model forward, or it may be a company that is looking to expand. You're part of their success, and you've been able to help them fulfill their dreams.
And so as the president of a community bank, namely Pendleton Community Bank, looking at helping people achieve those dreams and everything, how does Pendleton Community Bank really go out? You talked about relationships. How do you really go out and develop those relationships that lead to meaningful relationships that allow for future growth and development?
Well, I tell our team members one of the best and cheapest form of advertising is word of mouth. And if you build a relationship with an individual company and it's successful, they will share their success and who helped them with their friends, their neighbors, their family. And so we like to build upon the centers of influence, whether it be businesses, whether it be individuals. We want to build it through successful relationships, build it one at a time.
Yeah, and I think that commitment to one at a time, that commitment to, investment right here, again, there are regional and national banks where your money goes somewhere else. But to see that money come back into here, being reinvested here, whether it's athletic teams at the little league levels or different things, different philanthropic pieces, I think it just shows how much we can do for our community. But again, people do not really know about the community bank model. What should people really understand about community banks?
Well, as you said, the money stays here. I mean, we take local money that's invested by our customers in the bank, and then we in turn invest it back into the community in which we live and work and play. And so it stays here. It helps the community grow and become successful.
And I think that's important because I always talk about in the Communiversity building a relationship where we can take people that have graduated, we can bring them in, get them educated, elevated, graduate them, but most importantly, have an environment where they can live, work, play, and raise a family here in Southern West Virginia. And so through the community bank model, I'm sure you do mortgage loans, you do business loans. That helps us to build a Southern West Virginia that has the resources that are necessary to keep our most talented individuals, our young people, our educated people here in Southern West Virginia. So in terms of that, is there a focus in the bank of trying to work with younger investors or younger clients to try to get them seated and sealed here in Southern West Virginia?
Well, you talk about the lunch, and you talk about when you shared your vision of Communiversity, and that is a community bank's vision as well. We want to make sure that we do what we can to develop, to grow the community, and so whether it's all walks of life, whether it be the young individual just starting out, we want to help them become successful, find their path here in Southern West Virginia. We want to provide a community that allows them to grow a business, whether it be owner or would be working for someone else. We want to make sure that environment's there for them to be successful. And, that's why the Communiversity was so important to me.
Yeah. And I think it's neat when you talk about investment in young people and everything. I've been side by side with Pendleton Community Bank. You have a dedicated staff here led by Karen Ewing. I think she's internationally known and locally respected. But one of the things I've watched the bank from afar, as you go through for the Christmas parade here in Beckley, the bank helped co-sponsor bring in Santa and Mrs. Claus in for students and kids to have free pictures, free cookies and different things. I think about the work done at Chili Night and also, but I think about this one special initiative that's been launched by the bank, supported by local school superintendents, is this new initiative called the Cub Club Savings Account. And I think when we think about teaching people not only how to make money, but to save money, to know that Pendleton Community Bank has gone through and for young people throughout the counties that the bank serves, for them to be able to come in with a deposit of nothing but $25, they go through and actually open up a bank account. And I think the neatest part about that is every time the young people make A or B honor roll or have perfect attendance, they can come back into the bank and get a $5 deposit made to their account. That's the kind of things that are being built. That's how you're building the future. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it excites me when I look at the opportunity that lies ahead in the future. That young adult that has started a savings account, they've been faithful to their education process, they're successful there, they've started a financial education program through savings, and then when they graduate, they've got some very unique, in today's world, unique strengths and knowledge base from the financial perspective, their dedication. And so I think it just plays out to make them more successful in the future.
Yeah, I certainly agree. And, again, the Cub Club Savings Account at Pendleton Community Bank, an investment of $25 and watching savings grow for these young people here in Southern West Virginia. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break real quick. And I ask that you stay tuned for News Talk WWNR for more Our Communiversity today.
WVU Tech's Regents Bachelor of Arts degree is crafted for adult learners like you. Flexible, affordable, and tailored to your goals. You can even earn credit for work and life experience, giving you a jump on completing your degree. Whether you're finishing a degree you've started or shifting to a new career, WVU Tech provides the resources and support you need to make it a reality. Take the next step at wvutech.edu/admissions today.
With more Communiversity today, here's Dr. Stewart.
Well, welcome back to Our Communiversity today. Again in studio is Mr. Bill Loving, who is the president of Pendleton Community Bank. And we're discussing how community banks like Pendleton Community Bank can transform this area. And right before we took a break, new savings account for young people, again, with an initial deposit of $25. And every time you make A or B or perfect attendance, you can get more money added to your account. But, one of the things that Bill and I was working with him, and I saw something special happen. There's a new co-branded debit card that is for WVU Tech, and we work with Pendleton Community Bank. And the neat thing about it is the debit card actually goes to support the William Bill Bean Student Success Fund. And Bill, and I don't know if you know this story, and I'll tell it to you, at the beginning of the semester, we had 179 young people that were enrolled at WVU Tech, but if they had a balance of $500, it was $499.99 more than what they had. But through this co-branded debit card, the idea that you had the exchange fees at no cost to the customers, this exchange fee, money comes back to the university. And so through your generosity and generosity of other donors, we were able to take that list from the 100+ students down to 7.
That's awesome.
That's the power of Communiversity. How does that make you feel?
That is absolutely awesome to think that, we've been able to help in someone's education process, the journey that they want to take, but they could not take because of some financial need. And I commend those that have helped as well with the other donors, because that's what is so important to us to building up the community. And that's why we wanted to come up with a co-branded debit card. And that way it not only allows the university to be successful and the students to be successful, but every community member can contribute to that success by just simply doing what they do every day. Yes. Swipe their debit card.
Well, and I personally have one, and my swipe, I love them because if you meet a certain number of swipes per month on balances up to $25,000, you get 6% back. So a little bit of mental math there or whatever, that's $125 a month or $1,500 a year. Sounds like I'm going to be able to buy myself a Christmas present. What do you think?
I think your math is just right.
I love it. Well, I think the power too, again, of the card. Another situation or scenario, one of our team members that has a card was at a local retail store, a big box store here in town, and went through the checkout line. And when she went through the checkout line, the cashier saw the card and said, "Oh, that's WVU Tech. I went to school there." And notice she said past tense, I went to school, not I'm going to school. And so my team member asked the question, "Oh, you did? Well, what'd you get a degree in?" And the cashier responded, "I got a degree in mechanical engineering." So my team member looked up and said, "Well, hold on, wait. You went to WVU Tech, one of the top 100 engineering schools in the entire nation. You graduated from there with an engineering degree, and you work in retail." That was in the middle of September. My team member came back in the beginning or the middle of October. This young person went from working retail to actually working as a mechanical engineer for a firm out of Clarksburg. That's the transformation that we talk about. And I see the smile on your face. What are you thinking?
It's just unbelievable to think a debit card that someone uses every day can transform someone's life. And it did, and hopefully, by continuing to use the debit card, we can do that same thing for other individuals. We can transform their life. We can make their dream come true, finish that journey that they're on. And, again, we do so to try to build up the entire community, because what we wanted a community that is growing, it's thriving, and, it provides opportunities for others to come in, as you say, to live, work, and play here.
You mentioned thriving, and I remember when we opened the spring semester here at WVU Tech, I asked people, how can we thrive in 2025. And so as the president of Pendleton Community Bank, how do you, what goals or objectives do you have in place right now to help people thrive in 2025?
Well, first and foremost, as I said earlier, we go back to our core values. We want our customers to be successful. We want to provide products and services that they want and provide ways for them to use those services based upon the delivery channel that they prefer. And so that's why we have all types of electronic banking products, and then we have the teller window.
So you have everything the big banks
Absolutely. We have everything that the larger institutions have. And I tell our team we can compete with and do with anyone out there. So.
And one of those items that you were telling me about, it was ITM.
Yeah, and that's a new technology that we're looking into to allow a little more efficiency, but also allow the
now slow down for me. ITM, is this like a new ATM or
an ATM that has the opportunity for you to connect electronically with a person face to face.
So the I is
the individual.
Okay. All right.
Or intelligent, as they say.
Yes.
Intelligent machine. So it provides an opportunity to provide the service at remote locations to talk one-on-one with a person face to face.
Yeah, I think that's so neat. And again, I'm not for sure many of our listeners would think or know that a community bank would actually have those types of resources. And not only that, I think this is a special year for Pendleton Community Bank.
It is. It is a very special year. October the 5th, 2025, we will be 100 years old.
And so right here in this community, throughout southern West Virginia, more than 10 locations, some are in Virginia or whatever, but we won't hold that against the state of Virginia. We're the real Virginia, but 100 years. How does that feel?
Oh, it's very few institutions have been able to walk that journey and to be around for 100 years. And I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to lead the organization, to be one of 4 presidents of the bank over the 100-year history of the bank. So it's just a real, privilege. And it's not because of, necessarily what I've done. It's what the community's done. It's what our team members have done to make us successful over those many years.
Yeah, to think that you've only had 4 leaders in a 100-year period, on average a tenure term of 25 years. And if I'm not mistaken, you're at 25 years. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, but
October this year will be 25 years.
But one of the things that in just general conversation with you before, you recently told me I got a hunger in my belly. What does that mean?
That means I still enjoy what I do. I mean, I still enjoy banking. I still enjoy taking care of our clients, making their dreams come true, working with our team members to make sure that their dreams are coming true. So I still enjoy what I do every day.
Yeah, and I love it. When you have somebody that loves the work they do, it makes such a difference. And so at the end of the day, how does that make you feel? Personally,
it makes me feel great. A little story. I was really, really privileged and honored. My grandson graduated from a trade school, and he was valedictorian at a trade school. And he said, "Granddad, I want you to come." Of course, we did. And he said, "I've got something I want you to hear." And at the end of the presentation, he said, "My granddad told me that if you enjoy what you do, it will never be work. I hope you never work a day in your life."
I love it. I love it. Well, congratulations to your grandson who graduated at valedictorian. So exciting there, because anytime we can educate people, we can elevate them. But I think you're so profound when you look at this notion of when you love what you do. And one of the things I can tell is you love the community and you love the role that community banks play. And so as we look to what's next in Southern West Virginia, how can Pendleton Community Bank best help us all?
Well, we're very excited about an opportunity to look for new markets. And we just had approval for opening our 15th office in Summersville, West Virginia. So that will put us just north of our Oak Hill office. So we'll be in Summersville, Oak Hill, Mount Hope, and Beckley. And we're just looking to be a partner with the community. We want to be a good partner, a good steward to and with the community, and then just ask the community to give us a try.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Pendleton Community Bank, your bank here in southern West Virginia, is expanding north to Summersville, and so we look forward to that. But we're going to take a quick break, but I ask that you stick with us on News Talk WWNR as we close this edition of our Communiversity today.
Find out how you can be a part of the Communiversity family, like Pendleton Community Bank, your bank for generations, the City of Beckley, the Beckley-Raleigh County Chamber of Commerce, Cucumber and Company. Visit Southern West Virginia, the Resort at Glade Springs, and this Southern Communications station. Find out more at southernwvmedia.com.
Need a change and ready to transfer? WVU Tech offers the best return on your college investment in West Virginia, and we make it easy to apply and transfer your existing credits. We've got top-ranked, affordable engineering programs, 4-year degrees in science, business, and nursing, plus financial aid and student support services. WVU Tech could be just the place for you. Find out more information at wvutech.edu/admissions today.
At Pendleton Community Bank, they make you feel like family. Whether you're looking for the best checking account, financing for a new home, or the latest in bank technology, they want to be your bank for generations. At Pendleton Community Bank, their team of local community bankers can't wait to make you feel right at home with all the products you need and all the services you deserve. Virtual appointments are now available. Pendleton Community Bank, your bank for generations. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. NMLS number 403498.
Welcome back to our Communiversity today. I want to thank you for joining us, and I also want to thank our guests in studio today, Bill Loving, who is the president of Pendleton Community Bank. Bill came in to share his time and also his talent, but Bill also illustrated why he and Pendleton Community Bank have been treasures to this particular community. Again, I got to be honest with you. Before I met Bill Loving, I knew nothing about a community bank. I always wanted a bank that had a commercial on the television, and I thought that was the bank for me because I could save some ATM fees. But when I had that chance lunch that was orchestrated with Bill Loving, I heard the passion and the commitment that he had. And when I was able to convey this vision about Communiversity, again, Pendleton Community Bank was the first person to step forward and stand up and say, not only do we want to support, but this is at our core. This is what we do. And I think as Bill talked about, when you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I know Bill loves community bank, and I know Bill loves this community. And through his vision and through his culture, Pendleton Community Bank continues to uplift too. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we go through and we think about our Communiversity today, and we think about those questions, why not us and why not now? Oftentimes we're afraid. We're afraid that our credit score might not be high enough, or we might not have the right number of zeros to the left of the decimal point in our bank account. But one of the things that I can say to you is that the people at Pendleton Community Bank will not only listen to you, but more importantly, they will work for you. They will work for you to answer those questions. Why not us and why not now? But most importantly, they will work to make sure that not only can you survive, but in 2025 and beyond will help you thrive. And so I'm so thankful for their continued support of the Communiversity, where we know that the community is the university and the university is the community. So I ask that you please visit wwnrradio.com for additional information about community banking in Pendleton Community Bank and how you and the bank can help build our Communiversity today so that we have a brighter Southern West Virginia tomorrow.
You've been listening to Our Communiversity Today, a production of West Virginia University Institute of Technology and Communiversity partner, Southern Communications in Beckley. This program and contact information is available on our website and our mobile app at wwnrradio.com. Join us next week for our Communiversity Today.